back to GrindWise. I'm Earl. This is my partner, Brent. Gonna have a good conversation today. Pretty excited about the topic. Brent, today we're going to talk about corporate credit. It's one of our main things here, but I want to talk about it in a kind of a different fashion, just because the people that are listening at home, they own businesses. You've owned businesses. I've owned businesses. 37 years I've been building businesses, and I know you've got, 20 some odd years under your belt doing the same thing. There's a little piece that we always forget about, that frankly most of us don't even know about, and that's that EIN number that we get when we start our LLC. I guess let's start off with telling people, what the heck is an EIN? What is it really? I mean, most of us just think, hey, we got to get it for taxes, but give us a breakdown on an EIN number.
Well, if you think about you personally, you have a social security number, right? That's your identifier to the government that says, this is me. This is my identifier to the personal credit bureaus. This is me. I'm doing these things. I'm borrowing this money. I'm paying these bills. The EIN number is your social security for the business. So you can do the same thing, but you got to make sure you do it in the right way. Otherwise, it's just the same thing as using your social. You want to make sure and build the credit on the EIN number, just like you build credit on your social security number.
Okay, that's like a advanced topic. I'm just me, right? I've got a business. I'm pretty good at my business. I'm doing my thing. I'm out there rocking and rolling. I'm spending money. I'm building it up. But I've got this EIN number. You're telling me that's a social security number for my business. And you're also saying that it's no different than the social security number that I have, except this one's an EIN, employee identification number, for a business, and I can build credit on it, which means what? I stop using my credit? What are we talking about?
It depends on where you get it to. You know, I mean, if you build that credit to the point where you can get access to capital on your EIN number, then your EIN number stands alone without you personally guaranteeing it. It's a matter of creating your proof of your ability to borrow and pay. Think about when you were 18 years old and you got your very first credit card, right?
A long time ago. Yeah.
A long time ago. You got your very first credit card. If you went out and got that credit card, let's call it a Target credit card, $200 a month. What if that Target credit card didn't report? Did you build credit?
No, I guess not. Yeah.
Well, that's how business credit, corporate credit works. It's 95% don't report. You have to literally like throw a dart at a dartboard trying to find that one that does report, or the 10 that report out of 100, or whatever, you know what I mean? So, or 5 out of 100. You've got to find those in order to get the reporting. So for me, one of the last companies I owned, big companies I owned, was a $6 million trucking company. And that trucking company had a credit limit recommendation of just $7,600. That's it. Because 95% don't report, so none of my lenders were reporting. Funny enough, the only thing that was reporting was a power washer I bought for my fleet. A little $10,000 note. That's the only thing I had reporting on my business credit profile. All those other trucks, all the $3.5 million in notes I had weren't reporting. I was spending $5.5 million a year. None of that was being reported because none of those places reported. So I wasn't getting credit for those. So if you go out and you get that credit card, didn't report, the personal credit card, back to the Target card, you go out and get that card, doesn't report. Then in 6 months you want to buy a car, and they run your credit, they're not going to find anything. That's how business credit works. So if you find one that does report, and now you've got stuff reporting, now maybe you can buy that car. Makes sense?
Hold on, but back up first just a second, because again, 37 years, I've done it the same way the whole way through. Every time I try to go and get something for my business, they say, oh, sign your name. They have me secure it. So it takes both your credit, right? I mean, I've still got to use my credit.
Well, that's what we've been taught, right? So with my $6 million company, I went to my local bank that saw my money coming in every Friday. I had right around 100,000 plus or minus every single Friday deposited in that bank account. And I said, hey, I need a corporate line of credit. And they came back to me and said, you don't have any corporate credit. And I said, what do you mean I don't have corporate credit? I pay all my bills. Well, I didn't know that they were looking at my credit profile that had a $7,000 recommendation. And so when you build the credit on the EIN number, you're building your ability to get capital on the EIN number without you tied to it. Now, if you never do that, and I can't tell you how many businesses call me and say, I got credit, I pay my bills all of them on time. I just kind of have to chuckle because I'm like, well, okay, let's take a peek. And we look at their credit profile, and then they start laughing when I tell them they only have $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 recommendation, and they're doing $5, $10, $15 million a year.
Why is this even important? Why does this matter? Because I've built businesses. You built businesses. I've always got my personal credit good. Why do I even need credit on my business?
Because why do you start a business? Why do we start businesses?
Well, so I can buy cool boats, buy guns, go hunting, hang out with my family. I don't know.
You start a business for 3 reasons. Number one, you start the business because you want to look legit in the eyes of the world. People want to hire businesses, not just Earl Adams to come fix their plumbing, right?
Right.
You also do it for tax deductions. You get tax benefits by being incorporated. You also do it to separate yourself from your business.
Yeah, that's why I set up an LLC, so I wouldn't have to worry about that.
Go back to co-signing. What does your CPA tell you?
Save all your receipts. Keep them in order.
Separate your personal expenses from your business expenses.
Yeah.
Keep your personal and your business separate. Right. Mm-hmm. When you co-sign, what did you do?
I just made sure I could get the money.
Well, you did, but you also commingled your personal credit and your business credit, which is the same thing as commingling your funding, your money. So if you co-sign for a business twice, once is incidental, twice is piercing the corporate veil. So the second time you do it, now all of a sudden you have no personal protection. I'll give you an example. I met with a contractor. I'm not going to tell you what state or he's in or anything, but I met with a contractor. He's an electrician. He went to do a job with another guy who was an HVAC company. Together they were doing this job together. And the HVAC company couldn't get to the job in time. So the person that hired them ended up suing them because they gave them a bunch of money down for the materials. And they didn't get the job done on time. So the guy that's an electrician that's still trying to make things right gives them all their money back. Meanwhile, HVAC guy flees to Mexico because he's being sued. And now electrician guy is paying back personally. He was sued personally because he personally guaranteed everything in the business. They didn't even sue his company. They went straight through and sued him personally. He's paying restitution right now.
That's because he co-signed.
Yep.
All right. So we don't want to co-sign for our business. We've got this EIN magic number that somehow we can build credit on. How do I even go about doing that?
Well, like I said, there's a lot of things. There's a whole bunch of things inside of our platform that we utilize that help you get to that point. There's things such as your website. You have to have a website, obviously. Your email at the domain name, your address matching, business phone number. All these things have to line up. Right. And then you have to be registered with the bureaus. That doesn't happen automatically. It's not like personal credit. It doesn't happen automatically. You have to physically go out and register with the bureaus. We walk you through all this. And then you got to go out, after you do all that, then you got to go out and find the people that report. And they don't tell you that they report. And that's where we come in. We help you. We show you where those places are that report, who report, and then you can use those tools for your everyday expenses to help you get credit for all the dollars you spend every single day. And now you're creating a proof of ability to borrow and pay on a credit profile.
Well, I've already got, obviously I'm already registered with all the bureaus, Equifax, TransUnion, and I don't know what the other one is, but they pull my credit all the time. I got great credit.
That's personal credit. There's Dun & Bradstreet. Everybody's usually heard of Dun & Bradstreet.
Oh, yeah.
Equifax Business separate than personal, and an Experian Business separate than personal. When people, I talk to people all the time, and they go, yeah, I've got great credit. You have great personal credit? Absolutely. Great. I agree with you. But 99% of the time, they don't even have a credit profile when they say they have great credit.
Okay, but here's the other side of it, right? Because there's been times where my credit's not been so good because I'm kind of in a tough spot. So if I have bad credit, how do I go and build business credit?
Well, there's a way to do it. So let me tell you something. So as a business owner, 25 years, I've had my personal credit never, ever was above maybe 750 at the highest, maybe. Yeah. My personal credit got ran 42 times the month of lockdown because I was buying that many trucks. Crazy. So 6 points per poll. So take that times 42. What do you think my credit? 5 something, right? But I was still able to buy the trucks because of my relationship with the bank. They knew me. They knew whatever. And so basically, when you build the credit up on the EIN, they're not even looking at your personal credit. And so now my personal credit is over 800 for the first time ever, and has been for the past couple of years. So you're able to create that separation. So now I have corporate credit and I have personal credit, and I can literally do what I want to do. So if my business wants something, go out and get it. without me personally guaranteeing it. If I want something personally, go out and get it personally.
All right, but a couple things. It took me years to build my personal credit. And when you're young, you kind of do some dumb things, this, that, and the other. But it took me years to get that thing built. I don't know how many years I got left. I don't know if I have all that time to do that all over again with a business. So does it even make sense?
So I know exactly what you're talking about because I have built my personal credit. Watch your personal credit.
Yeah.
And what's it do? It goes like this, right? It goes like this every month. You may not even have done anything this month, and next month it takes a dip. Weird. With business credit, it grows 10 to 50 times faster, and the amounts are 10 to 50 times more. So for me now, I don't use my personal credit for anything. Everything I do is on business credit. Every single thing I do. I have a company, a shell company I created that's building credit. I go to the grocery store, gas station, some of my travel. Anything I do is all on business credit. I bought a gun the other day. Put it on business credit card. Before Uncle Sam comes knocking on my door, I do not pay for that with the business. I pay for that personally.
Okay.
Use those cards as a tool. So I'm building a credit profile on a company that doesn't have any revenue, but when I get to the point that I want to do something with that company, the company already has access to capital.
All right, so you help businesses build credit on their EIN. So anybody can do that?
Anybody that has any kind of a corporation, LLC, S Corp, C Corp, 503C, the only thing it doesn't work for is sole props. Everything else it works for. If there's an EIN number involved, we can build credit on that EIN number. And we don't just help them do it, we teach them how to do it. So that when they get to 12 months with us, they don't need our assistance anymore. They're set, they know what they're doing, they've got their credit going, and they're just continuing to build their purchase power.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to put you on the spot right now. Those are big claims, stuff like that. I know somebody who wants to build credit as a business because they signed their house away.
Yep.
Like, my business fails, my house goes away. How does somebody get a hold of you?
918-232-2728.
You ask your personal number?
That's
They
my
can just
personal.
call you up.
That is my personal cell phone number.
918-232-2728.
28.
Yeah,
2728.
We're gonna have everybody so confused.
I know.
I see what you're doing. That's why I put you on the spot. All right, so you can help people build credit. Have you've done it before? This is something new. What are we talking about?
So, the $6 million trucking company I had $7,600 credit, 15-year-old company. I have a company now that's this is December when I'm recording this, almost into December. I started a company March 27th of 2023, so it's almost 2 years old. It's $50,000 recommendation, probably 55 right now. No income, built it on my personal expenses, so I've done it myself personally. I have two different clients right now, and this is something I talk to every single person I talk to on the phone about. I say, look, I have two clients. This is what they ask. This is what most people ask me. Well, how much capital am I going to get? I'm a $5 million company, right? How much access am I going to get? Well, that's the wrong question. The right question is, how much are you going to prove you can borrow and pay? So I'm going to give you two examples. First example, and this is going to be a testimonial. We're waiting on the gentleman to do it, and I probably need to go ahead and push it a little harder again to get it out there. But he started with us about 5 months ago, and his company was spending about $20K a month on his everyday expenses. His credit limit recommendation on his EIN when he started with us was $1,000. Okay. So I found this out about a month ago. So 4 months into our program, he's at $190,000 recommendation on his company.
Cash money?
No, not cash money. Loans. He can go out and he can access capital.
Okay.
He can access capital. So another company. That company, I don't really know how much that guy was doing revenue. I'm gonna say if he spent $20K a month, he's probably doing between $750,000 and $1.5 million, somewhere in that area. I have another company, it's a $10 million company, and they called me. They came on about the same time as him. They called me about a week after I found out about his success and said, hey, we're not seeing the results we wanted. And I said, well, let's get on a call. So we got on a call, and I said, well, you're $10 million company, you're spending $8 million a year on everyday expenses, so what do you have reporting? $800 a month.
What?
Are you as a banker going to loan any business money that's saying we do $10 million a year, but we're spending $800 a month? You see what I'm saying? You're demonstrating your proof of ability to borrow and pay.
Yeah, I mean, if you sign a personal guarantee, so it doesn't matter how much money you make. So I have a business. I'm doing $400,000 a year, right? It's not a big business, but I'm feeding my family and stuff like that. Should I even mess with building business credit?
Absolutely. So I actually have another customer. This gentleman's out of Detroit, Michigan. He has two companies. First company is doing $2.5 million a year. Okay, spends $100,000 every month on a Business American Express card, which does not report, and so he spends it, pays it. He's not getting credit for it. So on that $2.5 million company, he had a $10,000 recommendation. That's it. Okay, so he has a taxi service. I think it was $455,000 a year company. Nothing major, but he has stuff reporting on that company, and it has a $265,000 credit limit recommendation because it's proven its ability to borrow and pay.
So everybody I know wants, I mean, like the biggest thing, really, literally, when you're a business, it always seems like vehicles. I always want a vehicle. I need a vehicle. And every time I go and do that, they're like, you already own 2 or 3 vehicles. Why do you need another vehicle? And it's just a pain in the butt. Can you get a vehicle?
Absolutely. It takes about 6 to 8 months for us to get you where you can buy a vehicle on the EI number without a personal guarantee. The cool thing about that is it puts you in the driver's seat. So I can't tell you how many conversations I have every day with people. I drive a Ram TRX that's in that company name that has no income. It's all about knowing what to tell people. So when I went to that dealership, I ordered the truck actually before I started building the credit. Okay. So I ordered the truck comes in 6 months later. They called me and said, hey, truck's in. I said, hey, I'm going to put in a company name. And they go, okay, when did the company start? And I said, about 5 months ago. And they're like, wow, you must be doing really well. I said, no, I don't make any money. And they go, you're not going to get approved. I said, send me an application for this one bank that you deal with, the commercial application. They sent it to me as a page. I always say it's a 1 page, but as a page, and the second page wanted my bank information, right? Mm-hmm. So I filled out the application, sent it back to him, bought the truck. I'm in Tulsa, bought the truck. It was in Paris, Kentucky, and I was going to arrange to meet them in Memphis, kind of a not really a halfway point, but I went a little further.
Right.
And so anyway, I went ahead and sent the application back to him, and the salesman goes, okay, we'll let you know if they approve you. And I said, no. Let me know when they approve me. And he goes, okay. An hour later, calls me and says, can't believe it, you got approved. I said, I knew I was going to get approved. In fact, I've already got my hotel room booked for Friday in Memphis. I'll meet you Saturday morning.
No personal guarantee?
No personal guarantee.
Nothing to do with your social?
Nope.
All right, look at the camera. Tell somebody how to get a hold of you again, for real.
918-232-2728.
So, if you're looking, you need a rig for your vehicle, or another vehicle, or whatever for your business, that's your personal number. Call you. That's bold, right? Because now people are going to call you left and right. You understand that, and now you have to put your money where your mouth is.
Yep.
But hold on. So, I have all kinds of credit cards for my business. I do. Business name's right on it. There's my name. There's the business name. I should have stellar credit already, because I use them every day.
Well, if they report.
Why wouldn't they report?
Because it costs them money.
Who?
The institution. I'm gonna do something else. I've not done this before. I have a business card in my pocket. This is a freebie for anybody that's watching. Let me see if I can find one here. Oh, this is a good one. So I'm gonna put this up here on the camera. I don't know if the camera will catch it. It's an American Airlines. It's a business credit card with American Airlines. This is a very tough card to get, just so you know. So if you notice on it, it says my name plus my company name.
Yep.
My company, no income.
Right.
So
no income.
No income.
Okay.
I got this card. The only reason I got this card and it was personally guaranteed was because I know a company that does $25 million a year, and I know the office manager, and the office manager was tasked with getting the owner this card every single quarter. $25 million company, very successful, very profitable. Business owner had an 800 plus credit score. They could not get it.
Why?
I got it with company. I don't know, because they didn't have any credit.
Oh.
I got this with my company with no income, and that's the only reason I even got it. But as I said, my name is on there. That's a business. If my name was not on there, it'd be a corporate card.
So that one's personally guaranteed?
This one is.
Okay.
I don't have any of all my non-personal guaranteed ones are on my desk.
So that's I guess that's kind of the mind-blowing thing. This has got to take a bunch of time, obviously, for someone to dig in and start doing this. I got to be honest. I go into these busy seasons. I'm buried. I don't have time to monkey with that. Look, I'm not even computer savvy. Frankly, I pay people to do that. So, how do you even find the time to do this?
So we've simplified it. I've kind of got a new spin on it, I guess, if you will. So we simplify it to the point that a business owner really isn't going to spend more than an hour a month at the beginning, and then it tapers off that you don't need an hour a month. You just simply go on out and apply for credit. We have this online platform that's like a shopping cart, if you will, for funding, for credit. Places that report, they have to do two things to be inside of our platform. They have to, number one, tell us who they report to, so you can target the bureaus individually. And I always tell people, I've met with so many companies that are 20, 30, 40, $50 million companies. They're like, we just bought a jet on our EIN number. That's fantastic, right? No personal guarantee. And I believe them. And then they go and try to buy a pickup on their EIN number, and they did not get it approved at all because they had nothing reporting to that other profile. So it's important to make sure all three credit profiles are built simultaneously. So then the second thing they have to do is they have to tell us what their approval criteria is. So before you even apply, you get approved. You know you're going to be approved. If you're not going to be approved, you don't apply for them. You find something else. It's like a shopping cart. You just go in there and say, okay, these are the vendors I can use every day. And then you use them, and you pay your bills, and you're building credit.
The baseball cards. Got it, want it, need it. Had it, got it, want it, need it. Okay, I got you. So I pay for everything with cash in my business. I don't even really need credit. Why should I even talk to you?
So people that talk to me find out that I'm a transparent and open. Sometimes things come out of my mouth I shouldn't. But when somebody tells me that, I just look them straight in the eye and say, are you stupid? What do smart business people do?
Well, I mean, big business, like corporate, big business, they use other people's money. They just borrow it. And
well, why would that be any different than a small business?
Well, just a little business.
Let me tell you about.
Probably can't.
Let me tell you about a company I met with. They saw me speak. One of our reps nationwide, we have reps nationwide. One of our reps had been meeting with this guy for months, trying to get him to come on board. $18 million company, and he listened to me speak at an event. He was there. He hosted the event, and he goes, "I never thought about it the way you said it." And I said, and I already knew the backstory, but I said, "Go ahead and tell me your backstory. What's going on here?" He goes, "Well, we do 18 million a year. We have this many employees, and we're paying everything cash, reinvesting in the business." And I said, "So you're reinvesting your cash in your business. So you go out and buy a truck, you pay cash?" "Yep." Mm-hmm. I said, "Well, what if you could buy a truck for 1.9, 2%, 3%, and then you can take that same $80,000 and make 5% somewhere else? And what happens if your company fails? Where's your money at?"
In a bunch of trucks.
Yep, tied up. And usually if a company has a bunch of trucks and it fails, what are the trucks worth?
About half of what they paid for.
Exactly. So and then they send them to auction. They don't sit on them. They have to pay bills. They send them to auction. So if you separate yourself to where the business has its own credit profile and the business fails, you can walk away from the business and you have all your money still in your other investments or in the bank.
So I heard, and I don't know how true. You could probably tell me. I heard that if you're a business and you don't have like all the stuff you were talking about earlier, websites and all that. I mean, I've always had that website stuff, so I should be getting great credit. But I heard that if you don't have good credit on your business, that sometimes you can't even get jobs with certain government agencies. What's that all about?
Yeah. So funny enough, the government looks at your credit profile. Number one, they do look at it. It will help you. So we do something really cool. We pull credit profiles for people. If you're bidding on a job, we'll pull your competitors' credit profiles, and you can literally walk into a bid and hand in your bid packet, hand them all your competitors' credit profiles, and so show them yours after you've worked with us. Show a strong credit profile, and now guess what? They're gonna be like, "Oh, look, these guys are really good, and these guys they're terrible. They aren't paying their bills. They're behind because 95% report good on-time payments, 100% report the negative." So we're able to pinpoint those negative, which also helps like a contractor, a plumber. A plumber gets this ginormous job from another company, a bigger plumber, and he's like, "We need you to come in and do this plumbing job. You're gonna make $1 million this year." And then that plumber calls me and says, "Hey, will you pull their credit profile for this company, this big popular company? Everybody knows them. They're a great company." And we pull their credit profile, and they have a whole bunch of bills that are over 100 days past due. That puts that plumber in the driver's seat of saying, "Okay, I'll come do the work, but you're going to put me on 7-day terms, not 30-day terms."
That sounds like a heck of a racket. So you're in the business of helping people build credit, but then you're pulling their profiles, driving their scores down every time you pull the profile, and then get them going, building some more credit.
Actually, business credit is public information. Anybody can pull anybody's credit at any time. It does not affect the credit when you pull it. So I can pull anybody's credit. If I have a company name in the city, state, I can pull their credit profile, and I don't even have to ask them. I don't even tell them I pulled it. It's public information, and it's shocking, but it is, and it doesn't.
The EINs are public.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. 100%. It's powerful for a business owner to be able to know where their credit is and know where their competitors, where their suppliers' credit is, and the people that they are invoicing where their credit is. Because if you go into a situation, I mean, why do banks pull credit? So they guarantee they get paid, right?
They want to know if you can pay them back if they give you money.
I had a contractor that's a client that called me and said, hey, I remember you telling me you'd pull this company's credit profile, and this guy's doing about $2 million a year, and this $50 million company was asking him to work for him. And we pulled the credit profile, and it was a lot of red.
Mm-hmm.
And he went back to him and said, I won't work for you unless you do 15-day terms. I'm not doing the 30-day terms with you. And they agreed to it, and they pay. And as far as I know, they're paying it. But now, if they're always late, his 15-day terms might have turned to 30 days. But he's getting paid not in 45, 96, 120 days.
Right.
He's getting paid on time. The second piece of that is to get bonded for public jobs.
Mm-hmm.
They pull your credit profile. Used to own a $50 million excavation company, and we had no credit. Didn't know you had to have credit. Went to get bonded we were actually in public utilities, and we went into oil and gas. Oil and gas shut down in 08, went back to public utilities, had to get bonded. We basically, friends and family all worked for us, so we had 100 people working around our shop every day while we were trying to find work. So we basically started our company, right? Had all the equipment still, we didn't sell anything. We went to get bonded, and they were like, oh, you don't have any corporate credit. And we're like, what the heck is this? Back then they gave me a phone number Dun & Bradstreet. I called Dun & Bradstreet up, and they said, tell us about your company. So I tell them about the company, and they go, okay, what do you need to have your credit score? And I said, I don't know, 80? That's what they said. That's what the bonding company said. And they go, okay, $1,200 a month.
80?
80 plus. It's the score 0 to 100. And so I had to have an 80 plus credit score. And I said, well, what's it going to take to get me an 80 plus credit score? We have all these bills we're paying. I don't understand. And they're like, well, you got to pay us $1,200 a month.
Ha!
I did it, and I got bonded.
Okay.
I mean, what happened the second I stopped paying that?
$1,200 a month?
The second I stopped paying it, the credit score went away. It's like a racket.
That don't sound right. Well, so if I'm listening to this, right, and I'm hearing Brent talk about all this stuff, I'm saying to myself, probably one of two things, right? I've been in business for 10, 15 years already. It's probably too late for me. Or I'm just getting started in business. I'm not even doing revenue yet. I'm not even making money yet. Why? Either of those scenarios, is there a scenario that's better to be starting to do this versus another one? Is it too late for me, or?
No, I mean, I've met with companies from startup actually, let's go before startup, an idea of a company, all the way to $850 million companies. And anywhere from 0 years in business to 50 years in business. The one thing they all have in common is that their first two steps are something wrong. They either, number one, have 17 different addresses for their business,
mm-hmm.
or they have their home as their address for their business, which is a big no-no. Or they have no credit profiles, or they have 10 credit profiles on each platform. So everything has to be, it's almost like, if it's not perfect, it's not going to be at all.
And you make it perfect.
That's what we do.
Okay, but if I've already been in business for a long time and I'm paying cash and this, that, and that, I mean, I like what you're saying, 1.9% on a vehicle versus dumping all my money in there, make 5%. And that's just good business sense, right? You can make money with your money versus having it sit there in an asset that's depreciating every single second. But is there a point where it's like, it doesn't even make sense to do it? Or should you always do it? Should everybody be doing this?
Everybody should be doing this. This is what Wall Street is. So I have a $200 million company that I'm in kind of talks with right now. Their credit profile, $200 million company.
Yeah, they probably got $100 million in credit then.
200,000.
Did you say $200 million company or
$200 million company
yeah.
with $200,000 in credit? And I, that. Hey, you know what? I would be happy with that with my company with no income.
That's a lot of money. Not if you're doing $200 million.
If you're doing $200 million, that's a drop in the bucket. And the problem again goes back to the reporting. They're not getting things reporting. They're spending money every day. They have somewhere around 500 employees, and they're using a payroll company, but guess what? That doesn't report unless you use a payroll company that we made a relationship with that reports your payroll to all 3 credit bureaus.
Yeah. I mean, you're borrowing people's time. You got a debt. You got to pay that. That'd be kind of cool.
Well, that's the so what we're trying to do is capture as much of your everyday expenses, and one of the biggest expenses in a business owner is, number one is always people. Number 2 is usually a fuel for vehicles, and then number 3 is your materials, or it's materials versus the fuel, right? So I was sitting here going, why can't we get payroll report? Well, none of them will report, and I met with about 10 or 12 of the nation's top payroll companies, and this one company said, we love what you're doing, we want to be part of it, and they will report not only your payroll, but the taxes you pay, the fees you pay, any benefits you provide that you pay part of, as well as your work comp, all to all 3 credit bureaus. Therefore, what's that do to your credit profile? Your proof of ability to borrow and pay just went up. Now, when I had that $6 million trucking company, I was spending somewhere between 70 and 80 grand a week, and it took me 2 hours to do payroll. I did it myself. I would have gladly paid somebody had I had access to capital because of it.
We need to do an episode just on that.
We
frankly.
do. Absolutely.
That could cover a lot. That's exciting. So anybody wants to get a hold of you, it doesn't matter if they're doing $100,000 or $100 million. It just doesn't make you. I gotta divert back to this because I saw a stat. I don't know what it was, 2-3 weeks ago. Blew my mind. That, oh God, what was it? It was how many businesses shut down? It's like 590,000 businesses last year shut their doors forever. I mean, it's sad, right? Wall Street's eating up Main Street, this, that, and the other. Shut their doors forever. But what was really freaky was everybody was saying, I think it was like 80-some-odd% of them were saying, if we could get money, if we had the ability to get money or get some credit, we could have kept our doors open. Even worse than that, the ones that shut down, they were saying, we got stuck with a bunch of debt that had nothing to do with us. It was all business debt. This fixes that or changes the whole...
It changes the way you do business, honestly. I've had, I can't even tell you how many businesses I usually have 4 or 5 going at one time. So, I mean, I've probably had 30, 40 different businesses. The one thing I always had in common is if the business failed, and businesses is your baby, right? You want to take care of, you want to nurture, you want to give it what it needs. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had a house paid off, and then I had to mortgage the house to keep the business afloat. And then the business fails, and then I still have the mortgage. So if I had credit with those companies, and the company failed, and let's say I needed $200,000, and I had a credit profile that said I could get $200K, and I had $200K from a bank on the business. It's not tied to me. So if the business failed, the business has the debt. If the business failed, they can't come after me. It's all on the business.
So let's do like a little recap here. You're saying it doesn't matter if you're doing no revenue. It doesn't matter if you're doing $100 million in revenue. The common thing with everybody is they got an EIN number. That's a social security number for your business. That's what I heard. Yep. Any of them can build credit on it. It's not going to take them 10, 15, 20 hours a month, and they're not going to have to dedicate something. It's about an hour a month, roughly. They're going to mess with it, but you do the bulk of the work for them, or make sure that everything's working right? That's what I'm hearing.
We don't do the work. We teach them how to do the work. So we give them the link. So if you need an address change, here's a link to go change your address. Here's a phone number to go change your address. Here's different places to go get a virtual address. We give them all the information, guide them through the process. We don't get powers of attorney, so we don't do the work. We don't want your power of attorney. You don't want us to have your power of attorney, because if you give me your power of attorney, I might be taking a lot more trips to the Bahamas or something on you. Right?
So why don't I just Google it then, ask Google what I got to do and do it myself?
You want to hear something funny? You can Google the stupidest thing, cats chasing cars, and you'll get 50 million videos of that. You can Google how to build business or corporate credit, and you're going to get about maybe 1,000 different videos of people telling you to do different things. We actually have the right process in place.
It's chronology.
Yep.
Step 1 through step
7.
BAZ, whatever. Is 7?
Yep.
It's not like hundreds?
Nope.
7 steps.
7 steps. 8 to 10 months, the majority of our clients are at top tier credit.
Well, you gave out your number. Do you want to tell everybody what all 7 steps are? Is that
No,
something?
no.
Okay. I tried for everybody. So there's 7 steps, but all they got to do is call you. And that number is
918-232-2728.
And you're going to answer the phone. It's not going to be some robot or...
It'll be me. And actually, I'll tell you what, text first.
Okay.
Because I'm in meetings all day long every day, and I promise one thing, I will respond within that day.
So businesses are shutting down all over the country. This is a solution that changes the shape of your business forever. He just gave you the number. I'd say call it. I'd say call the number, but we're going to cover that, a lot of other topics. I'm glad that we got to talk about this today. I think it's the basis, probably the single most important thing anybody can do for their business. I sure as heck don't want to lose my house if something goes sideways in my business. And if we can reposition people to not do that, that'll change everything. Any final thoughts for anybody that might be watching this, Brent?
Yeah, I talk to people every day. And one thing I want everybody to understand is that between you and I, we have 60 years of business ownership together.
Yeah.
Both of us have been successful. Both of us have fallen flat on our face.
Yep.
And the one thing that we both agree on, and you don't find many people that agree on things like you and I do, but we agree on a lot of things. But the one thing we agree on is that we don't want people to fall on their face where we fell on our face.
No.
So we will go out, if we find something that's a problem for business owners, we'll go out and find the solution and bring it to the table. And that's just what we do. It's who we are. We care about the small business owner. I was talking to a business owner yesterday, and I told him that same stat you just told me about, the businesses that failed to access the capital, and he kind of chuckled and goes, well, that's any business fails because it can't get money. And I said, I'm going to change that. I want to change that stat.
Obviously, that's what we did here today on GrindWise, right? I took your position a little bit in the conversation with Brent because I think it's important. There's so many different things that I didn't know for 37 years in business. You didn't know for 25 years in business. And there's things that you probably don't know today. And at GrindWise, we're going to make sure that we unveil those things, help you guys reposition yourselves on a micro level like a Wall Street company by bringing tools to the table, information to the table, probably interviews and resources and things that you probably never would have stumbled across. And we're going to do that for you here on GrindWise. I appreciate this conversation, Brent. Look forward to the next one, and I'm out.
Yep. Same. Sounds good.
All right.